Francis Stephen of Lorraine was born on December 8, 1708 in Nancy. He was the fourth son of Duke Leopold Joseph of Lorraine and Elisabeth Charlotte d'Orléans. Francis Stephen was a great-grandson of Holy Roman Emperor Ferdinand III through his grandmother Eleonore of Austria. Furthermore, he was a great-grandson of Louis XIII of France through his mother. His maternal grandmother was Liselotte of the Palatinate, who was married to the brother of Louis XIV of France, Philippe d'Orléans. Francis Stephen had both Habsburg and Bourbon as well as Palatinate Wittelsbach ancestry. Together with his brother Leopold, he was prepared for a military career with the help of the Holy Roman Emperor. After his brother Leopold died in June 1723, Francis Stephen became the new hereditary prince to the dukedom of Lorraine and Bar and traveled to Prague on the occasion of the coronation of Emperor Charles VI as King of Bohemia. The first meeting between Charles VI and Francis Stephen took place on August 10, 1723. In Prague he also met the Empress Elisabeth Christine of Brunswick-Wolfenbüttel and her daughters, among whom Maria Theresa of Austria. During this meeting, the betrothal between Francis Stephen and Maria Theresa of Austria was arranged. In 1724, at the age of 15, Francis Stephen arrived at the Austrian court, where he was to receive his final education. Francis Stephen felt very much at home in his second homeland and, much to the chagrin of his educators, became the emperor's constant hunting companion, taking part in festivities, celebrations, and balls. After almost 6 years, Francis Stephen's father, Leopold Joseph of Lorraine, died. Francis Stephen returned home and succeeded his father as Duke Francis Stephen III of Lorraine and Bar. As a result of the War of the Polish Succession, which broke out in 1733 after the death of Augustus II the Strong, Francis Stephen exchanged his inherited Duchy of Lorraine and Bar for the Duchy of Tuscany a few years later. King Louis XV of France had intervened in the war in favor of his father-in-law, Stanislas Leszczynski, while Charles VI supported the late king's son Augustus III. Charles VI prevailed, but France demanded compensation for Leszczynski in the peace negotiations. In addition, Louis XV wanted to prevent a large territory on its eastern border from being united with the Habsburg land as a result of Francis Stephen's planned marriage to Maria Theresa. At the same time, the extinction of the ruling House of Tuscany was foreseeable, as the last Grand Duke, Gian Gastone de' Medici, had remained childless. His inheritance was claimed by the Spanish Bourbons, who were closely related to the French Bourbons. France and Austria therefore agreed in the Peace of Vienna in 1738 to appoint Tuscany to Francis Stephen and to appoint Lorraine and Bar to Leszczynski, who would hand over the duchy to France after his death. Francis Stephen initially rejected the exchange of the duchies, but Charles VI gave him to understand that without the exchange, Francis Stephen would be denied the hand of his daughter, Maria Theresa. So, the young duke agreed and became Francis Stephen II, Grand Duke of Tuscany. On February 12, 1736, Francis Stephen married Maria Theresa of Austria in the Augustinian Church in Vienna. Unlike the usual dynastic unions of the time, it was a true love match. Francis Stephen and Maria Theresa had a total of 16 children, 11 girls and 5 boys, of whom 13 reached adulthood. Those 13 are Maria Anna, who remained unmarried, Joseph II, who married Isabel of Parma. After her death in 1763, he married Maria Josepha of Bavaria, Maria Christina, who married Albert of Saxe-Teschen, Maria Elisabeth, who became the abbess of the noble ladies in Innsbruck, Charles Joseph, who remained unmarried, Maria Amalia, who married Duke Ferdinand of Parma, Leopold II, who married Maria Luisa of Spain, Johanna Gabriela and Maria Josepha. Both girls were betrothed to Ferdinand I, King of Sicily. Sadly, both of them died of smallpox before any wedding could take place. Maria Carolina, who took her sister's place and married Ferdinand I, King of Sicily. Ferdinand Charles, who married Maria Beatrice d'Este, the heiress to the Duchy of Modena. Maria Antonia, also known as Marie Antoinette, who married Louis XVI, King of France. An extensive series about Marie Antoinette can be found on my channel. And finally, Maximilian Francis Stephen, who became Archbishop and Elector of Cologne. Although Charles VI granted Francis Stephen a seat in the council, he was unable to assert himself there. Francis Stephen was also unsuccessful as a soldier. In 1738, he went off to fight in the Russo-Austrian-Turkish War, but soon returned due to a nervous breakdown. In 1740, Holy Roman Emperor Charles VI died. As Charles had no male successor, his daughter Maria Theresa inherited the crown for the Habsburg lands in accordance with the Pragmatic Sanction, which was issued in 1713. But the Pragmatic Sanction did not apply to the imperial crown, which is why Francis Stephen was nominated for it. Francis Stephen's nomination as Holy Roman Emperor instigated the War of the Austrian Succession, which began with Frederick the Great of Prussia's invasion of Silesia. In 1742, the Bavarian Elector Charles Albert, who continued to dispute Maria Theresa's claim to Austria and the other hereditary lands, and ultimately claimed them in vain during the Austrian War of Succession, was crowned Emperor Charles VII as successor to Charles VI. He was the first Holy Roman Emperor for more than 300 years who did not come from the House of Habsburg. Francis Stephen had been co-regent in the Habsburg Hereditary Lands since 1740. However, Maria Theresa ran the government of the Habsburg dominions largely herself. The function of co-regent was primarily intended to preserve his dignity, since otherwise he would have been a prince consort without function in matters of state. After the death of Holy Roman Emperor Charles VII in 1745, his son, Maximilian III Joseph, Elector of Bavaria, declared his consent to the election of Francis Stephen as Holy Roman Emperor, and Francis Stephen was subsequently crowned on October 4, 1745, in the Imperial Cathedral of St. Bartholomew in Frankfurt. As Holy Roman Emperor, he called himself Francis I. The reign of Francis Stephen as Holy Roman Emperor was unremarkable. As he was neither busy as Holy Roman Emperor nor as formal co-regent of the Habsburg Hereditary Lands, Francis found enough time to devote himself to his real interests, namely the natural sciences and his coin and mineral collection. He acted as an important stimulus for the natural sciences in Austria and was also responsible for the creation of the Schönbrunn Zoo. Through skillful financial transactions, Francis Stephen succeeded in amassing a huge fortune, which his son and successor, Joseph II, was able to use to balance the state budget. Francis Stephen allegedly maintained a lasting extramarital relationship with Princess Maria Wilhelmina von Auersperg, who was 30 years his junior. It is said he bought her a country house near Luxembourg Palace, where it is said that he spent many an evening with her. Francis I, Holy Roman Emperor, died unexpectedly in his garage on August 18, 1765, shortly after the wedding of his son Leopold II. His eldest son Joseph followed in his footsteps as co-regent of Maria Theresa, as well as Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire. Francis Stephen was buried in the Vienna Kapuziner Gruft on August 31, 1765. His heart was taken to the Habsburg Heart Crypt in the Loreto Chapel of the Augustinian Church in Vienna, and his entrails were placed in the Ducal Crypt of St. Stephen's Cathedral in Vienna. Thank you for watching.